Hello, and welcome back to another excellent episode of Tube Talk.
We need to apologise there was no Tube Talk last week.
We do indeed. And why is that, Father?
That is because there were trials on last Thursday at Te Araha, they're normally on a Tuesday. So we're down there all day, and then I had a syndicators meeting in Cambridge on Friday, so I couldn't quite get it done. And the Waimate Wonder, Matt Ornut, the man with the big hair, was also away on holiday, so we just couldn't quite get it done. But we're back with a bumper issue Melbourne Cup week this week.
Yeah, we apologise greatly, but we're going to make up for it because this is a special episode of Tube Talk. Today, we will be doing, at the end, a runner-by-runner preview of the Group 1 2000 Guineas. Woo!
We will. Smaller field.
See, I have to do the sound effects. We haven't quite got that sorted yet, have we?
We need to invest in some
We
technological
need,
advances.
the generic clapping in the background.
Yes.
Okay, without further ado, let's talk about last week's horses.
Yes.
Black Sabbath was a brilliant winner last Saturday.
Let's talk about, can we talk about that 1 second? Let's first of all very quickly talk about the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, we'll brush over it.
And what we've done. So the Melbourne Cup was super race.
Excellent.
Two horses pulling away, fighting it out. Two great jockeys. Joe Moreira, what a ride he gave Heartbreak City to run second. Just brilliant. And must say we were quite pleased because we backed the winner, didn't we? Backed a winner. So we made a few dollars.
Just a couple.
Just a couple. So, no, but a great race. Terrific race this year. And on that note, also, we need to say that we have imported a stayer from a 3-year-old stayer from the United Kingdom to Chris Waller's stable in Sydney.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, he's named Al Award. He's been racing in France. He's had 7 starts for a win and 3 placings. He won his maiden by 4 lengths, and his last 3 starts have been in $100,000 3-year-old mile-and-a-half races, and he's been finishing, like, running third, beating a length and a half and things like that. He's very progressive, and who knows, the dream is to have him in the Melbourne Cup in a couple of years' time.
And I'm pretty sure he was born in Ireland, if I'm correct.
He was born in
So he's a
Ireland.
very international horse.
Oh, very international. He arrives there the next couple of weeks, and we might have a share left in him possibly by Friday, maybe. So if someone's interested,
Go ahead.
give us a call.
Oh, go racing.
Right.
Okay,
Let's press on. Let's press
As
back.
I was saying
and on.
earlier, Black Sabbath was a brilliant winner last Saturday.
She was some gear. 1. I'm going
1.
for 5.
Okay, I'll go for 6 then.
So
Black Sabbath.
great to see her back in winning form. She's had a lot of issues in that. She hasn't had injury issues. She's just been getting her head up, and she's been doing things wrong, and hasn't been putting her head down and sprinting and things. And so what we did is we stepped her back in distance to 1,200 metres so that the pace was really on. So she has to chase, so she can't think about things. And we put rings on her, which helps them bring the head down, and it worked. She got back, and while she set her head up a little bit, she sprinted from the back off an on-pace bias and was a brilliant winner. Great to see her back. She is group class, and hopefully she can progress through the grades.
Awesome. And, oh dear. Okay, sorry. There we go. Sorry, just lost my notes there.
Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. We had 2 runners.
Yeah, sorry, that was so unprofessional of me. Okay.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sure people will forgive you.
I hope so.
So Melbourne Cup Day Tuesday, we had No More Tears running at Ellerslie.
We did indeed, and No More Tears came in 3rd.
She did. That's very good. You've picked up your notes
Yes,
quickly.
Compose myself.
Unbelievable on-pace bias on the day. If you weren't in front, you couldn't win. She settled about 4 lengths off them around the home turn, ran them to the winner to half a length, who was leading the whole way, found the line beautifully, really good run. She's on target, and she'll go weight for age 1,400 metres, Group 2 on the 19th of November. She's back.
Awesome. And also on Tuesday at Otaki, we had Rippin' to Gear, who ran 3rd.
And a close 3rd and a good 3rd. She's a very talented filly, but she's field shy. She's just doing a few things wrong. She had side winkers on. She travelled better up the straight. She was still field shy. Once she had something to chase, she finished off well, but she never changed legs and sprinted all the way up the straight. She was just sort of like this. And if she changed legs, she would have gone and won. So she's really exciting, but she's a work in progress. She'll step to a mile next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's an Oaks filly.
It's pretty exciting. Sounds like a pretty good last week, I think.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm pretty happy
We'll
with that.
see if we can trump that this week.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I don't mean Donald Trump with the election next week. I just mean, better than last week.
However, it is a highly discussed topic at the moment.
It is.
Okay, so this week we've got 8 horses running. Sorry, I'm probably a bit too loud there. 8 horses running. First up, on Friday at Singapore, we've got Billy Mojo in race 9, who is going 1,200 metres on the turf track.
Yeah, and he's been a little bit disappointing his first 2 starts up there. He was a little bit better last start. Sidewinkers on, and he's been carrying heavy weight. So we're putting an apprentice on, which will bring his weight down to 54.5 kilos. He's back on the turf track, which we like. He's drawn awkwardly 8 of 11, so still got to talk to Bruce, work out what we do, whether we go forward or back with him. But his work has been good. I'm expecting further improvement from him in this start. And after this race, he gets re-rated, and he could well drop in weight significantly after this. So we are expecting a more improved run from him. But just up there, sometimes first preparation, they just take a while to work it out, and he might be one of those horses. Yeah.
Awesome. And on Saturday in Canterbury, running at Riccarton, we've got Elusive Boxes fresh up in the Rating 65 1,200 metres.
Yeah, a $30,000 race, and look, her last one, she won by 4 lengths. She killed them, but that was a few months ago, and we've freshened her. I think that on her day, she's pretty smart, but I'm just not sure what we're going to get. Her work's been excellent. I wouldn't be surprised if she wins. And I also wouldn't be surprised if she blew out. If she was there, went really well, and then needed it a little bit. I'm just not sure because she's such a big gross mare, but she's got so much speed. So it's a bit of a wait and see, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see her win or go very well.
Mm-hmm. And race 4 on Saturday at Waikato, we have Ivy's Gold running over
2,100 metres. So she's so she worked very tough, very good second over a mile last start. We've always thought she'll stay. She has to step up in grade for this race to rating 75 grade, which is 65 horse, but she's drawn very well. We've got Sam Weatherly on board, so she's only going to carry 51.5 kilos. She should get a lovely run close to the speed. And while she's out of her grade, she's got the opportunity to run. She's got the opportunity to run well. She's a distinct each way chance.
And then, race 8, we've got Water Diva second up over 1,400 metres.
Yeah, and again, 1,400 metres is too short for her. She's a stayer, but she's drawn really well, barrier 2. Because she's a stayer and we sort of don't have huge expectations of going to this race, we've put Hari Mizuki on, Stephen's apprentice, who claims 4 kilos. So she'll only carry, I think, 52.5 kilos, I think it is. And look, she can run a really cheeky race. Good stayers will run well when they're fresh, and she's reasonably fresh. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her settle sort of, I don't know, 5th or 6th, and actually have a bit of a dab. And at very, very good money, I could see her running somewhere in the money.
Mm-hmm. Next Wednesday at Riccarton, we've got Seize the Moment in the Group 2 Copeland's Bakery Mile. Yeah,
very good horse. He's had 2 preparatory runs. We've left the blinkers off for him. He's been a little bit fat. We've sharpened up his work in the last week. The blinkers go back on. He drops to 57 kilos. People say he doesn't get a mile, but his record says he does. He races well at Riccarton. He will be improved for his first 2 runs. They'll leave him alone in the market. He'll blow out to $14, and he is a winning chance.
Nice one.
He's a winning chance.
We also have Pinzano in the Group 3 Stewards Handicap.
And Lethanus rides, I should say. Pinzano, bit of a throw at the stumps. She's a very speedy mare. She's only sort of rating 75. She's in the Group 3 Stewards, but her winning strike rate has been very good lately, and don't quote me exactly, but I think she's won like 3 of her last 5 starts. So what we've done is we've freshened her specifically with this race in mind, and we're preparing her for this race on Wednesday. Hopefully she makes the field, and if she can run the first 3, she's got black type and she's worth a bit of money. So that's the go there. It's a throw at the stumps, but she's got enough speed to be competitive, so it's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. And finally, we've got Petite Midas in the Maiden 1200.
Yeah, and she ran fresh up at Mochikarara last week on a track which was very unsuitable, too wet for her butt. We had to run her to get her ready. She got a bad check before the turn, got knocked all the way back, and then she finished off really well. I think she's come back better than last campaign. I think she's an excellent chance next Wednesday if the track is good 3, dead 4. Kelly McCulloch on, and I think she's a very good winning chance in a $30,000 maiden.
And now it is time for the special segment of this Shoot Talk, where we discuss the runner-by-runner preview of the Group 1 2000 Guineas.
We do, and I just got to say that email before was somebody inquiring for a share in the horse from the UK.
That is pretty exciting.
So I'll get on to them after this. So yes, great Group 1 race, can be a stallion-making race. Only 11 runners in it this year, but high quality. Sophie, do you want to talk us through from the top point?
Yes.
From the number 1 down.
First up, we've got Heroic Valor.
Heroic Valor, he's a Group 1 horse. He's got a lot of class. He's a Group 1 winning 2-year-old. He came back. He won a listed race first up. He's a very tough horse, and he seems to be able to race on pace and increase his speed sort of gradually without really having a sprint hard. He gets there and he wins his races not by big margins, rather than being able to go bang. And while I've got a lot of respect for him, I just wonder if he doesn't quite have the turn of foot that a couple of others will have in this race. In saying that, I think he'll be on pace, and I think he'll be there or thereabouts because he's so tough. And I also wouldn't be surprised if he goes further in distance. But I don't have him in my selections. I think a couple of others are just sprinting a little bit better at the end of their races at the moment.
Okay, and second up we have Ugo Foscolo.
Ugo Foscolo, he's won all of his races except one when things went horribly wrong for him in the Hawke's Bay Guineas, and it was a wet track. I originally didn't have him at the top of my picks. I thought he'd be very, very competitive. But he's moved up, and he's moved up for a couple of reasons. One is I don't think there's going to be a heck of a lot of pace in the race. I think it's going to be a moderate tempo at best. I don't think there's a real leader in there. Something no doubt will work that out and try and lead, and he is a leader. I think he'll be on speed. I think his last run was very good. I think he did more work in the race than any other horse, and he still managed to win and beat Mongolian Falcon. So I think he'll be handy in the running. And I think that he is a very, very good winning chance. I think he'll be right up there the whole way. And I think I think he's probably the best value in the race at $5.50, actually.
Nice one. And I'd just like to quickly make an apology for all the names I mispronounced and all the names I already have mispronounced. Okay, third up is Mongolian Falcon.
This was my top pick in the race. He blew them away in the Hawke's Bay Guineas. And his last start was very good. He ran second Ugo Foscolo, but it was an on-speed bias, and he had to make up lengths on him, and he ran him to about a head, and it was a very good run in the Annie Sarton. For those reasons, I had him on top. In saying that, I think Ugo Foscolo did more work than Mongolian Falcon in the Annie Sarton, so deserved his win. So I don't think there's much between them. What has changed my mind is Mongolian Falcon was due to fly down on Thursday to Christchurch for the race. He wasn't allowed on the plane because of fog in Christchurch, and they've had to lay over in Auckland for another day, and he won't arrive down there till Friday. And that kind of thing, that really mucks horses up. And for that reason, I still think he's competitive, and he would have been my top pick, but because he's missed his flight, and he will only arrive the day for the race, he's moved down my picks.
Mm-hmm. Fourthly, I don't think fourthly is a word.
Number 4.
Number 4, we've got Hall of Fame.
So Hall of Fame's had, he's a very well-bred Savabeel colt. Well, he's by Savabeel, he's a champion sire. That's what I should say. Because he's not, on his dam side, he's not hugely well-bred, but he is, by Savabeel, he is a champion sire. His last 2 wins have been very good. Matt Cameron's elected to ride him over Heroic Valor. So he's clearly got ability, and a lot of ability. However, he's been running in 5-horse fields his last 2 starts against Maideners. It's very hard to get a line on him because you would expect that Mongolian Falcon or Ugo Foscolo or other horses in this field, if they'd run in those races, they would have won by 5 or 6 lengths as well. So I think his form is slightly misleading. In saying that, he's obviously got a fair amount of ability, and as I said, Matt Cameron's decided to ride him. He did race against Ugo Foscolo first up this season, and I think he finished about 2.5 lengths behind him, and I think that's a better form guide for Hall of Fame than his last 2 runs. So I do have him up there in my picks, and I think he's got a better turn of foot than Heroic Valor, the stablemate, but I don't have him on top.
Mm-hmm. Fifth up, we have got Windspell.
So Windspell, look, he's been a good horse, and he is a good horse, and he's hitting the line, and he's always looking good, and he's looking like he's got a big win in him, and he probably has. But everyone fell in love with his last run, the Annie Sarton, and it was a good run because he came from last off the on-speed bias, or came from well back, and to run third. However, he got a lovely run up the rail while everything else came wide. He did make ground, but he was still lengths behind the first 2. I think he's going to get back. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pace on. He also missed the flight south. I would have had him up 4th in my picks, there or thereabouts, but because he's missed his flight south, he's dropped out of my top 4.
Mm-hmm. 6th, we've got Chasio
Bao.
Sorry.
I think it's a bun. I think it's a bun you can get in Hong Kong, and I think. So Idiot Chasio, look, he's a bit of a blowout, this horse. He's a horse. He's won his last 2, a maiden and a 65. So he's been running well below the grade of races the others have been in. But there's no denying he's got ability. So he's a bit of a smoky. He's a bit of a smoky. He's progressive, and you wouldn't be surprised to see him run very, very well. And saying that, when you line up the quality of horses he's been running against to some of the others in the field, it doesn't match up. So I'm prepared to risk him, with a asterisk that he does look like he's got a lot of ability, but I would risk him.
Mm-hmm. 7th, we've got Sava.
Another horse by Savabeel. However, he beat a 4-horse field last start. I don't think his form is really up to it, and I couldn't have him in my picks. I think he should probably be a 40 or 50 to 1 shot. He's obviously got ability, but it's a Group 1 race, and I think it might all be come a bit too soon for him.
Mm-hmm. 8th, we've got Jon Snow. Sorry.
No, Jon Snow. Look, I think he potentially has the most ability of any horse in this field. His second he's only had 1 run this season in the Hawke's Bay Guineas, and he ran second. It was a super run. He's obviously got a very good turn of foot. He's trained by Murray Baker and Andrew Forsman. He's by Ifraj, who's on fire. He's obviously a very good horse in the making. He's got Obi Boston coming back from Hong Kong to ride him. There's a lot of positives there, and there's a lot of ability. His turn of foot was super in the Hawke's Bay Guineas. There's no denying, I think, on ability he's up to them and may actually be the best horse in the field. However, he missed the flight on Thursday, and he floated from Cambridge up to Auckland, waited there, couldn't get on the plane, floated back to Cambridge. That'll kill a horse going into a Group 1. So he has dropped out of my picks for that reason. I was also slightly nervous about him in that he'd only had 1 run going into a mile this season. But I would have had him in my picks, but for that missed flight, I can't have him.
Mm-hmm. 9th, we've got O'Reilly's Choice.
O'Reilly's Choice is one of those horses that's been running nice races, hitting the line against some of the other horses in the field, but he hasn't been able to run in the first 3. And he's been beaten by a few lengths by them. The mile will suit. He may finish it off better than most, but it's hard to see him making up the 3 or 4 lengths that he needs to threaten.
10th, we've got Savile Row.
A McPhee horse, and again another horse that I think potentially has a lot of ability, but I think this race has come up too soon for him. He's gonna have to come up against some pretty good horses. I just wonder if he's a preparation away from this level. So again, a horse with a lot of ability, but I'd be prepared to risk him.
Mm-hmm. And I apologise, but I don't actually have the 11th horse in
well,
my notes.
Cobbler to the Stars is a maidener. It's been soundly beaten by Hall of Fame. No chance. It is no chance. It should be 200 to 1. Unless something remarkable happens, I could not see it. It'll run last. Unless something remarkable, or second last. It'll run the last 2 unless something remarkable happens. If it was running in a maiden race next start, you'd back it, but not in a Group 1.
Okay. And there we go. That is the special Guineas 2000 edition.
So would you like my picks and then Matt Walnut's picks?
That would be excellent, thank you. Shall we start off with yours?
My picks. I've got Ugo Foscolo on top. He'll be handy to the pace. There's not much between him and Mongolian Falcon. Mongolian Falcon was my top pick until he missed his flight, but now Ugo Foscolo is. Second, I've gone for Hall of Fame. I had him in third, but he's come up one spot because of the flight problems. While he's been racing against poor fields, he's obviously got ability and has a turn of foot, and you have to like that, and you have to like a 7 over a mile. So he's second. I have put Mongolian Falcon still in third. He wasn't as badly affected as John Snow. While he's missed the flight, he's staying in Auckland. He doesn't have to travel back to his stable, and he's such a good horse. I will put him in for third. And my fourth pick is Heroic Valor, because he's always on pace, he's always there or thereabouts. So Ugo Foscolo, and I think at $5.50 he's really good value.
Awesome, and now it's gone to Matt's.
Matt's picks, he's gone the same. He actually had Jon Snow on top originally until the flight issues came up. So now he's gone similar to me, Ugo Foscolo, Hall of Fame, Mongolian Falcon, and for fourth he's gone Chusabao, who we discussed was one of those horses with a lot of ability that could be a blowout chance.
There we go. And that is our Tube Talk for this week.
And we'll look forward to seeing everyone next week and seeing how well we get on with our picks.
Until then, happy betting.
Thanks, Sophie.
See you next time.